right, and welcome. Good evening, and welcome to our first Orlando Youth Chamber Ensemble live stream. We have some wonderful opportunities to present for you all tonight, and would like to keep you informed of all of our new developments happening this season. This season, we have added 4 new exciting ensembles. We have Jazz Workshop, Vocal Jazz Ensemble, and our 2 newest string orchestras, along with some vibrant ensemble directors and staff members to give each one of our ensemble members the best experience possible with Orlando Youth Chamber Ensemble. With that, we would like to give you an update on some upcoming dates we have for this season. Number 1, our registration deadline is live now, and you can see that on our website at oyce.org. The deadline registration is December 9th. Our audition date for our jazz ensembles will be November 7th. I'm going to pass it to Mr. Jesus Lopez, who is our CEO of the Orlando Youth Chamber Ensembles, to talk about the audition process.
Hey guys, so how are you guys doing? This year, for the audition process, we're going to do it a little differently. Last year we had all of our groups audition. This year we kind of omitted that for the vast majority of our ensembles, but some ensembles, due to the constraints and the restrictions of the ensembles themselves, that still require them to have an audition, such as our salsa band, our jazz band, and some of our string ensembles, like Mr. Figueroa is mentioning up here. So due to COVID, and obviously our number 1 priority be making sure all the things are comfortable and safe, we've changed how we're doing auditions. Last year we did every student is required to submit a virtual audition. This year we're doing auditions. Again, in the name of safety, what we're doing is once you've registered, we send out our links to you, the audition packet, and we have you very safely schedule a time with us. You will know ahead of time what time is required. There'll be only 1 person allowed in the building at any given time. We're going to have all of our judges safely away from you. There will be temperature checks, hand sanitization stations everywhere. Students will only be allowed to play in the designated warm-up area and only allowed to play during your actual audition. The audition process is almost the exact same as last year's, so we're going to only ask for 2 tunes in this case. And if you want to find what those are, remember to register. That's the only way to get the audition packet, right? But once you will play your 2 tunes, you'll be asked to play a couple of scales. You'll be asked to improvise on one of those 2 tunes. And then you may, depending on what instrument you play or how many people we have, you might be asked to play a couple additional scales, might be asked to improv a little bit. But again, it's not about you being part of our organization. It's all about placement into which ensemble. Like Mr. Figueroa mentioned, we have 3 jazz ensembles for instrumentalists, and we want to make sure that we set you up for success, right? We structure them so that we have an advanced ensemble. We have one that is specialized towards small group combos and for improvising, and then our intermediate jazz ensemble that, again, we'd love to have you in. So again, it's not whether or not you're going to be in our ensembles, it's all about making sure that we place you in the correct ensembles. That, I want to take a quick second just to remind you guys, hey, on the banner at the bottom, you'll see follow us on Instagram and follow us on all of our social media, because again, we love to make sure that you guys are up to date with all of our information. But with that, I'm going to back to
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. A lot of great things, and hopefully you guys got a lot of information about our audition process. I'm going to ask Mr. Lopez one more question. Can you talk about our masterclass series that we have up in October?
Absolutely. So when it comes to our organization, yes, we want you to be in our ensembles. Yes, we want you to but not what this is all about. It's all about exposing our students and our community to some of the positions in Orlando and out of Orlando. So again, these are some activities and master classes that we offer free for any and all students, regardless if you are an OICE or not. So if you're an OES or anywhere. We even had some college students jump in. Again, the more the merrier. One of our founding philosophies is that we never ever turn anybody away. But to answer Mr. Antonio Figueroa's question, we have on October 23rd, a awesome masterclass opportunity with the Rollins Flute professor, Miss Katie Mess. She's going to be talking to you guys about your equipment, about fundamentals, about technique. Again, no one particular subject. We want to be as free as possible. We want to give you students an opportunity to work with our flute ensemble director, some of our interns, and of course, our special guest, Miss Katie Mess. In addition to that, on October 27th, we're going to have the one and only new director, Mr. Elaine Burdett, working with you guys with all saxophonists and anyone interested in any, oh my goodness, like, he's a phenomenal musician. Again, he's going to be working with you guys on improvising, on how to double on instruments, on equipment, on how he practices. And trust me, you're going to want to know how he practices because he's a monster. With that, I think we're ready to introduce our first staff member. Our first staff member, he's the director of our brand new Orlando Youth Jazz Workshop. And again, this ensemble specializes and focuses on playing, improvising, transcribing, and all the other amazing stuff that Mr. Chris Medina is going to talk about. So, Mr. Chris Medina.
Hello.
Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me. Love being here.
So as we know, Chris Medina is our new jazz workshop director. So we're going to ask him a couple of questions about his ensemble and the things that he'll be teaching this year. So, Chris Medina, who are you?
Well, my name's Chris, Christopher Medina. I was born South Floridian, born and raised Miamian, but moved up here when I went to college. I studied at the University of Central Florida. I got a bachelor's degree in jazz performance. So this workshop is really something that's right up my alley, kind of home for me. I've been playing for over a decade, like many of any of the parents watching. Probably your kids started in the 6th grade. That was me too. And I actually just fell in love with it enough that I made it a full-time thing for me. So, yeah.
Fantastic. All right. What can you teach the members in addition to what they would learn in school?
So the purpose of the jazz workshop is kind of like a missing link between kind of a collegiate level education you might receive and something you might get in public school. There's a challenge that jazz band directors have to kind of overcome in public school, and that's that they have to make a repertoire that these students can perform. They have to work around all of the students at once and make sure that everyone is within a certain playing ability to one another. And there isn't much of an emphasis put on improvisation because of this, right? It's like there has to be certain goals met, and therefore some things are left out. What I find is most individuals who go to public school, whether it's middle school or high school, go through however many years of a jazz program in a public school, still will not know basic fundamentals of improvisation and other little nuances found within the jazz idiom. And the workshop aims to target those things specifically. So there's a lot of emphasis on improv, a lot of emphasis on ear training, making sure we're improving the ears of our students, and that when they're improvising, they're also listening actively. There's going to be a relatively large amount of emphasis on technique and practice, because we want to make sure that despite the fact that we're being very creative almost all the time in the class, we still need to develop our technique individually in order to accomplish those goals. So it's actually a multifaceted class that really is what most students don't get in public school. So, and this goes for private school too. It's not just public. It's really just grade school in general. This is kind of something that I think a lot of people will benefit from, no matter how long you've been playing, how advanced you are, maybe on your instrument. If you think you know something about jazz improvisation, I guarantee you're probably still going to learn something from the class.
Thank you. Fantastic information and very exciting for our new members. Another question for you. What kind of pieces will you be working on this season?
So the class really focuses around the repertoire we would see in what's known as the Great American Songbook or other various jazz standards. But that being said, the tools and techniques found in this class are universal. Learning about music theory, learning how to improvise, not only in a soloing context, but in an accompaniment context as well. There's really the concepts we're tackling aren't limited to jazz. We are putting an emphasis on it because it honestly is one of the better ways to drive a student to learn improvisation, because there's so much variety. It's been around for so long. We have a very specific lingo, vernacular, musical vernacular, if you want to call it that we use in the jazz world, that is really the basis of improvisation in so many other genres. So by teaching them jazz, we're actually opening up a lot more doors. So we will be playing mainly stuff out of the Great American Songbook, jazz standards that I learned very early on that are to this day songs I still play and improvise on regularly. So it's definitely going to be geared toward jazz, but not limited to. We'll play funk, we'll play Latin music. It's not going to be, swing 24/7. We'll mix it up.
Thank you. Fantastic. Another question. Are there any performances you're looking into for this group?
So the performances that I want to do with this group are going to be largely combo based. But we won't really have a definite answer as to what we'll be doing and how we'll be performing until we have a good understanding of the students we have, their level and playing ability, and also the instrument variety we have. We are aiming for smaller group things. However, if we have enough students, we can make another big band out of it. The real goal of the class, again, is not just to make a band and play. We're attempting to learn all the little things about jazz music that might get missed in other places of their education. So it's not really so much about what the setting is, it's more about what, the lectures that we may have, and then how we implement those into the tunes we play. But again, small settings, think jazz trios, quartets, quintets, all the way up to septets. And if we have a big enough group, we can make a big band if we'd like. The setting could be very versatile.
Fantastic. I really enjoy the information that you're talking about with this workshop, and I think it's going to be very beneficial to our members. For our last question for you tonight, will you be bringing in any guest clinicians to run a rehearsal?
So I am fortunate enough to know some pretty successful musicians in the area. I don't have anyone who quite has given me a yes yet. With all things COVID and so forth, we still have a bit of ambiguity as far as who is available and who has plans currently as to what they'll be doing in a few months when we actually start. But I do have people in the area, some people I would like to reach out to, some which have very prolific music careers. I'm hoping I'm able to get them over here, but I don't have names I just want to reveal yet. I want to make sure that I have them set in stone. But some pretty exciting people, I'll say.
Beautiful. Can't wait to meet them. Thank you again, Chris. This is Chris Medina, our new director of the Orlando Youth Jazz Workshop. Thank you again.
Thank you.
We're going to take it back to Jesus, and Jesus is going to introduce our next director for the evening.
Absolutely. But before we do, I want to answer some of you guys' questions. So Irina, the question we have is, do you know when we can come face-to-face to OICE? So yes. So what we're looking at doing is we're looking at starting off right off the bat face-to-face. And that's why we're starting our season a little later than we normally would. Instead of November, we're aiming for January. But obviously, we still understand that we're in a very interesting climate, so that might change. Again, we're aiming to start face-to-face. Obviously, if things get worse, that might have to change, unfortunately. But as of now, we're starting face-to-face. And to accommodate that, what we're planning on doing is having all of our ensembles kind of split up smaller than they normally are. So instead of having our massive 80-piece clarinet choir, what we want to do is focus on trios and quartets. So one, the students can get more attention. We can split up that we can focus on incredibly important repertoire for these instruments, for these jazz ensembles, but also to keep the ensemble small enough and safely distanced so that we can make sure that every student is um, learning and in a very educational environment without being risks their health and their safety. But I hope that answers your question. And thank you so much for asking that. And if anyone else has any more questions, we love to pull you up on the stream and again, answer any and all of your questions. But with that, I want to bring up, oh my goodness, we're so excited to have this person on our staff, and we're so excited to offer this ensemble. This is personally, and it's terrible because they're all my favorite ensembles, but this one in particular, the Salsa Band, the Orlando Youth Salsa Band. So this is one of our most interesting ensembles because this is an ensemble I don't think is offered in any school in Central Florida. And if it is, let me know. I want to check it out. But with that, I want to bring on master trumpet player, Mr. Marco Rivera, to join the stream. How's it going, Marco?
Nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
Marco, thank you again for being a part of the Orlando Youth Chamber Ensembles. We're happy to have you. I have a couple questions for you tonight.
Absolutely.
Number one, who are you?
So my name is Marco Rivera. I am a graduate of UCF, just like Chris Medina. I got a degree in trumpet performance, and I am a music freelancer, trumpet player. I am a teacher. I'm a recording artist. I do a little bit of everything, but the majority of my work and the majority of the time that I spend, especially here in Central Florida, is playing with a lot of salsa bands, backing up a lot of salsa artists. Anybody that comes into town, you know, I played with Charlie Aponte, which is the singer from El Gran Combo, and tons of different people. Anytime that an artist comes into town, I've been lucky enough to get called to play with them, and a lot of just staying active in the music scene.
Hey, so obviously we know that your group is incredibly unique just because it's such a fun and interesting environment. But can you talk to us, what are some of like the more interesting and really cool aspects of your ensemble?
So one of my favorite things about this, and something that, growing up in the Orlando area, I actually went to high school here in Colonial High School. So I grew up in the OCPS area. It's just something that isn't really stressed and offered in the school system here. And this is such a diverse style of music, and not just one that is, it's a style of music that influenced jazz. Jazz is a style of music that's really, really pushed in schools, but it's neglected that with jazz, it's influenced from Afro-Cuban music. So this is it's a very unique style of music, and a lot of the rhythms that you'll see and a lot of the different harmonies gave birth to a lot of the different ideas and ideologies that we use in jazz music.
Absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, there's something that you want to show the students, correct?
Yes. So this year, just because of how different, the times are with performing and stuff like that, something that I wanted to stress this semester with my students is I wanted to have a little project with them. So I wanted to give them the opportunity to record and maybe record some original music, but definitely some of the pieces that we were going to be performing this semester. So this just a couple of weeks ago, I actually wrote and recorded this, and I wanted to give the opportunity to a lot of my students to maybe have the same opportunity as well. So let me see if I can play this.
De seguir amándote, ya yo me cansé de ser tu maniquí, para quitarme el fuego que un día dejaste. En el momento en
Not to kill the rest of the time of the of the live stream, but that's just a little taste of something that I want to offer to the students this year. So I really want to give the opportunity for those students to see, on top of performing, some of the other aspects that isn't really offered to a lot of high school groups.
No, that's absolutely great. I don't know if you noticed, but our chat is jamming out right now. Um, so with that, I want to ask you another question. I know like last year we had so many grand ideas for opportunities, and this year we actually are very likely, again, fingers crossed due to the
Yeah.
current climate. But what are some of the opportunities and activities you have planned for your group? And what are some of
So
the pieces you want to play with them too?
okay, so I'll start with the pieces. So I'm going to do a little bit of standards. I want to keep it right in the middle where we're playing stuff that's more modern. So something like, I want to give the opportunity to play like Mark Anthony pieces, for example, things that are very popular today. And then I also want to go back and perform standard songs like La Rebelión, Celia Cruz pieces. Those are in the works. I'm not going to say all of the songs we're going to play right now because I want it to be a surprise to the students, but just know there will be a lot of Mark Anthony, a lot of Celia Cruz, a lot of standards, and it's just trying to keep things interesting with the students. Now, for performance opportunities, something that I have noticed, the Spanish scene is a very, very, very strong scene, and Central Florida is a very, very diverse group of people. So I've like just out of like with the times things have been kind of like with COVID and all, but gigs are starting to come back and performance venues are starting to take bands again. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I have been in talks with some of the places that I've performed at before, and we're going to see if I can maybe line up some performance opportunities at those places already. So it's in the works. I'm not going to say any specific names yet, but the scene is starting to come back, and obviously, everything would be. I would make sure that students would be in a very safe space, making sure that any opportunity to play would have anything that they needed to make sure that they were playing and staying socially distanced and making sure that crowds were far enough away and anything of the sort. So
Absolutely. We can't stress enough that safety is our number one priority. While yes, education is incredibly important and giving students opportunities and such amazing opportunities that our staff and our partners have to offer is incredible. Safety is number one. One thing I want to note for Marco's ensemble is there's a little sneak preview of it, but we need singers, and not just for Marco's ensemble, but for the next ensemble, we are keeping a little bit of a secret for. But yes, we in Central Florida have such a diverse and amazing community. We'd love to have all you singers come and join us, and you don't have to necessarily be a Spanish speaker to join us. We're here to teach you. I think we had such a wide and cultural part of in that ensemble. We had so many students from so many different walks of life, and just to expose them to this kind of music and to this culture was just as important as the music itself. I think Mr. Marco Rivera will attest to that. But again, the only requirement that we have of our students is wanting to be here and wanting to learn and just showing up. The rest, that's up to us. We're here to teach you guys and make you guys better musicians. But again, all we need for you is to show up with a positive attitude and willing to learn. Marco, before I let you go, we have one question from you, from actually one of our interns. I'm gonna pop it up here. Feel free to answer it to the best of your ability.
okay, so my biggest goal with this ensemble is definitely to provide a style of music and a style of learning and playing opportunities that just aren't offered usually to students in high school. This group, it's so special to me and Jesus, and we've talked about it so many times, just because we just feel like it's something that isn't stressed enough in schools with how much they stress classical music and jazz music. This is also a cultural and high level form of playing music, and it's just something that I would love to see this expand. If high school students love playing this music, who knows, maybe high schools across the county might want to start having Latin music opportunities in their own high school. I just want to see this music also have an opportunity to be taught just like the others.
Thank you so much, Marco. That was a beautiful answer. And I think with that, we're as we transition to our next director, do we have a doozy for you guys? We're gonna have Mr. Antonio Figueroa talk to you guys a little bit more about some of the upcoming opportunities and some of the upcoming events that we have coming. Thank you so much, Marco.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right. So.
And thank you again, Marco. Wonderful, great things from him. I want to update you guys about some of our upcoming live streams that we have. So again, tonight we're talking about our jazz and salsa band groups and some of our partners that we're working close with. We have some other ensembles and some other groups that we also will be presenting coming up in the coming month. So we have on October the 21st, we have our brass and percussion, and we will be meeting our directors of the brass and percussion ensembles on another Wednesday. So again, it'll be on October 21st. So make sure you have that marked on your calendar. Then after that, on November 4th, we're going to have our string ensembles, which is new for our Orlando Youth Chamber groups. So we are so excited to be adding our string orchestras to the ensembles. And then after that, we will have our woodwind directors, something that we started from, and we love our woodwinds, clarinet, saxophones, all in our low reeds. That will be happening November 18th. So we are so excited for all of these live streams. Please make sure you're there to join and watch the next and new directors that we have coming up for this coming year. Thank you again. And I'll be taking this back to Mr. Jesus.
And with that, please remember, if you're going to see, if you take a look at the bottom of the screen at the banner, that's where you register. Again, the entire season, beginning to end from January to a little past June, is only $75 with a $10 registration fee. Again, the reason why we did this is because we believe in accessibility for all students. Again, we want students from all walks of life, from all places, to just have these opportunities, right? So again, all you have to do is pay your $10 registration fee. You go to oice.org, register. That's where you pay it. You get an email, you fill out the registration form, and ta-da, you're in. When it comes to the rest of the tuition, please don't worry, don't fret. We have payment plan options, tuitions, scholarships. We will work with you. Again, all we need you to do is your registration fee, fill it out, and be eager to learn. But with that, I'm super, super excited to bring on our next director. And this is someone who we've been talking about her being part of our organization for quite a while now. Whenever we run into each other, it's always just a pleasure to talk and converse and talk about how we can make this community a little bit better. So we're so excited that we finally got the opportunity to bring her on board and have her be one of our staff members. So without further ado, Michelle Mayo, the director of our mixed vocal jazz ensemble.
All right, welcome. I'm so happy to be a part of this. This is just fabulous. I'm really happy to join you this evening. You want to know a little bit about me, or should I wait for all the fancy questions?
Oh, no, please. We want to know all about you.
Okay. Well, long time ago, I got my bachelor's in jazz studies. And right after that, that was in Michigan, in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And then right after that, I got hired by Walt Disney World, and I was a singer there for about 20 years. And when I was a little bit later on in my career after kids, I decided to go back for my master's, and I got that at UCF, like a lot of people that are on staff with me here. And I'm on faculty at Valencia College, and there I teach music theory and ear training, and that's where I first met Jesus. And I teach a lot of jazz, individual jazz voice lessons there. And I run sort of a jazz workshop with instrumentalists and singers, trying to get everybody to play well with each other. And then I also teach at Rollins College. And there I have a lot of voice students. I run a women's vocal jazz ensemble there as well.
The resume is endless. Oh my goodness. If she were to write it down, it'd be longer than a dictionary, I promise.
Thanks.
But with that, Michelle, I want to ask a question. So I'm a band person. If it's not obvious enough.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Right? Who would have guessed? But I want to ask you, how is this ensemble like a little bit more unique than the traditional choir settings in the public schools?
Well, here in Florida, I just haven't, there are a couple, but I just haven't seen a lot of vocal jazz ensembles. My whole master's thesis and my lecture recital was trying to talk everybody in Orange County into having one of these. Every spring, a lot of these choirs, I think traditional classical repertoire is important and great. Typically at these high schools and middle schools, if you notice in the spring, they always sort of have that spring fling and they have contemporary music. Well, what I want to share with Orange County is let's dig a little deeper harmonically and let's work on the Great American Songbook. Let's learn a bossa nova feel. Let's work on some samba. Let's work on how to really dig deep on a Duke Ellington ballad or a Johnny Mercer lyric. So I think that jazz is America's greatest art form. And it's a deeper level of understanding. Learning how to swing an eighth note in a choir setting as a singer, to me, it's just deeper, and it's very meaningful to me and everybody that's a part of us tonight, because we're all so in love with jazz. We have show choirs in a lot of these schools. That was my first love too. But I just always felt that the harmony in the arrangements was more triadic and just more simple. And I just get really excited about tight harmony, like a Take 6 or a Manhattan Transfer. That's what's exciting to me, is learning how to sing a really close harmony with your neighbor. And I feel that my ensemble with OYCE will be equal parts training strong musicians and training strong performers. You could probably tell, I was a Disney performer for a long time. And it's an important part of the process to be able to communicate with your audience and learn how to, I'll probably have individual people introduce the next tune rather than me doing it, and they can talk about Cole Porter, or they could talk about Gershwin, or we're also going to add Stevie Wonder. We're going to do some Earth, Wind, and Fire. We're going to do some Jobim and a ton of swing tunes like Tuxedo Junction and all stuff like this.
So one question I have for you, Mitch, and because we touch upon it all the time, but this group is just for singers, right? So like I can't be in it since I play an instrument.
I don't agree with you there, right? So what I have found in that group that I've been working with at Valencia is some of the best scat singers are my saxophone players. And they have been reading music and reading eighth notes and reading 16th notes and reading syncopated rhythms a lot more than your typical 7th or 8th grade choral student. And if I can get some instrumentalists in there singing, it would to me make the group even better. And these instrumentalists could maybe learn some vocal technique from their choral neighbors, and the choral neighbors can learn how to swing a little bit better and how to maybe really tune that third and that flat 7 and really understand what that tritone sounds like in a dominant 7 chord. Because these saxophone people and these trumpet people and guitarists and piano players have been sort of living in the harmonic language longer than maybe some of the singers have. And they can just have this cohesive relationship, and I think it'll make the ensemble better. I want instrumentalists in my group, definitely. And there's one more thought about that is you guys know this guy named Billy Meether. Like there's like a bunch of cats that have graduated from UCF that are now in our world making a living. And you know what they have to do a lot on their gigs is sing a backup. Maybe grab a lead on a tune, and working on your vocal chops. If you're in love with music and you think you want to do this for a living or major in college, man, if you can sing a little bit and find some harmonies, and it helps you, it's this whole circle of becoming a strong musician, and everybody helps everybody, and building those skill sets is really important.
Absolutely. And I just want to add too, like for you juniors and seniors, it's not even just about like doing this professionally, but even just getting through your college courses. I know like at Valencia and at Rollins, like it's required, like you have to sing, and you're probably not going to be singing such advanced music like we're trying to expose you to, but even just having basic understanding of vocal techniques and this and that would do you wonders, especially for those of you wanting to get that music degree. And
yeah, the music degree is at Valencia, you got to take 4 semesters of ear training and sight singing. Yep.
Absolutely. And You know what's super awesome about being in our vocal jazz ensemble is that once you graduate high school and you end up at Rollins or Valencia, bam, you already know your professor. Look at that, knock two birds with one stone. But Michelle, what are some of the really cool activities and opportunities you want to expose these students to?
Okay, sure. I talked quite a bit about the cool, tight harmonies a la Manhattan Transfer, right? Another great experience that young singers get when they start to explore vocal jazz is the art of scat singing and improvisation. And I remember being in high school the first time, sort of maybe going over 12 bar blues or even just one chord and learning how freeing and fun it is to improvise a melody over a set of chord changes or a chord change or one triad, and learning how to be free in an improvisatory way as a scat singer. And this is for all these ensembles that are part of our jazz and they're going to work on improvisation. There's something that happens in the right side of your brain, the creative part, that it allows you to be more flexible and malleable in your work life, in your student life. Adversity and things are always going to be changing. And right now, like the biggest term that all of us are hearing is the situation is very fluid. And man, because we are jazz musicians, we just have a leg up and we work well with others because we expect the unexpected and we're not afraid to try things that may or may not work. And there's something that I've noticed creatively with jazz musicians. There's a fearlessness about us, and there's a lot of insecurities with young people, a lot of anxiety that happens with young people, especially these days. I have two kids of my own. They're 12 and 9. And I just feel like working in a jazz environment and working on improvisation just starts to build confidence in a singer, in a performer. And all of a sudden you'll see them be in their math class or their English class, and the hands are starting to go up in class because this is music in general, right? But I'm trying to really make the slant and make the argument that learning about improvisation in a choral setting and using your voice it's an instrument that's inside of us, and it's close to our souls and it's close to our heart. And there's a transformation that I see with young singers when they get to be in a choir specifically working on improvisatory things, that it just starts to open their hearts to me.
Absolutely. I totally agree with everything you said. One really cool thing that all of our vocal jazz ensemble singers will get to do is we have our salsa band and we have our jazz workshop, but we also have two fully functioning operational big bands. And one thing we really want to do is pull some of these members that are in the vocal jazz ensemble to sing solos with our jazz ensembles. Last year, we were slated to perform for the Essentially Ellington composition, and we competition, not composition, oh my goodness. And at the Timucua, and at so many Hapco events, and we'll touch up on Hapco in a little bit.
Yeah.
But one thing that we always try to do is feature vocalists and feature singers. And we want to give this opportunity to these singers because I feel like oftentimes it's just like, oh, band is over here, choir is over there, and we never get to really interact. So we really want to give these singers the opportunity to perform with the big band. I don't know what that's like, but I know Michelle can talk to you all about actually getting to perform with the big band.
Right. I don't think there's anything like it. I feel like I should have been born, then, so I could have been a big band singer of the 40s, because there was a lot of gigs available to big band singers. However, this OYCE is a perfect opportunity, and oh my gosh, what a great idea to get some singers, sort of that weekly training, and then we can get them in front of the big band and we can just really, really open them up as performers and work on their range. That sounds like such a great idea. Great, great, great.
But with that, actually, guys, I know Michelle's almost done here, but don't cry, don't be upset, because she will be back in a little bit just to talk about another amazing organization that she's with. I'm so excited for her to talk about that. They do like so many great things here. But thank you so much, Michelle.
And for those who are just joining us, a couple of updates, and I want to give you some more of our dates that we have coming up. Again, OYC is hosting our masterclass series. We have Flute with Katie Mess on October 23rd. And then we'll also have Sax with Alan Burdett on the October 27th. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for that on our social media, our Instagram, our Facebook page, and our YouTube page, and we'll have those masterclass series up and ready for you guys, having a link there for you. And along with that, we have our live streams again happening for brass and percussion on October 21st. We have our new string ensembles happening on the 4th of November, and then our woodwinds happening November 18th. Here's
Thank you so much, Mr. Figueroa. So before we bring back our jazz workshop director to talk about our jazz ensembles, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about OICE, right? OICE, we talk so much about it, and it's like, oh, we're doing this and this and that and the other. But I want to just touch a little bit on who we are and what we are. So OICE is a collection of ensembles, right? So we have 18 ensembles, one for every instrument in the band. We have some choir ensembles, some our salsa ensemble, like you heard Mr. Marco Rivera talk about, and we even have our string ensembles now. So we offer an ensemble for everybody. But one of our core beliefs is inclusivity, and just bringing the community together. So that's why we offer some of these workshops and some of these master classes. That's why we're always bringing in clinicians. Like a couple weeks ago, we had Mr. Dave Pollock, the YouTube sensation, amazing jazz saxophonist, come on. And we had our all-state prep clinic where we had over 40 clinicians. Actually, you'll get to see one of those clinicians in a little bit. He's about to join us with an amazing bass clarinetist in his own right, and contrabass clarinet player, who will be talking about his organization in a little bit. But it's all about a supplementary education and to give you some opportunities so we can better, again, supplement the education you're getting in the public schools. We only rehearse once a week. We try to be in a very centralized location, and that location will disclose to you in the next couple weeks. We try and go out into the schools and do public services, like where we visited Edgewater High School and Cypress Creek High School and Channel Lakes Middle School. We try and work with some of our amazing like neighboring organizations like Hapco, like the Central Florida Jazz Society, the Orlando Philharmonic, and all of the local colleges. Because again, what we're trying to do is, in providing you guys these educational experiences and all these amazing opportunities, try and bring the community a little closer together through music. But with that, I'm gonna Mr. We're gonna talk a little about our jazz ensembles.
Thank you, Christopher Medina. Glad to have you back again for talking about our jazz orchestras 1 and 2. I'll let Mr. Jesus take away and talk about our.
So yes, surprise, haha. So while I do get the amazing responsibility and privilege of running the Orlando Chamber Ensembles, I do also get the honor and privilege of running a couple ensembles, one being the clarinet choir, which we'll talk a little bit in a couple weeks, and our jazz orchestras. So our jazz ensembles tend to be our premier ensembles for OICE. These are essentially the face of the organization, and they get to do some amazing concerts, performances, collaboration stuff. Again, and we've touched on them a couple times, but like with Hapco, we perform with them quite a bit, and it's a pleasure and honor to get to work with them. At Timucua for some at the Orlando Philharmonic with some of the colleges. And let me tell you, this jazz, like last year's jazz band, every week, week in and week out, just blew me away with their amazing dedication, with their amazing discipline, and with just the high level of music we got to perform. We offer not just one, though, we offer 2 jazz ensembles. So 2 full functioning big bands with singers, with extra instrumentalists, with guest clinicians, with an amazing myriad of like incredibly legit, right, as us jazz folks like to say, repertoire and music. But with that, I'm gonna pass it over to Mr. Christopher Medina, who not just works our last year's Jazz 3 and this year's Jazz Workshop, but also was a frequent clinician of Jazz 1. Chris, I think you're muted.
Thank you. So yeah, I regularly frequent the other groups. One, to provide another perspective from another I think relatively competent jazz musician, but also just to kind of see where we stand in terms of musicianship. We definitely enjoy pushing our musicians. I think our jazz bands generally we try to hit all the great American songbook stuff. We've hit tunes from Glenn Miller Big Band. We were, and we're sitting in that era, like 40s and before. Tommy Dorsey, Jimmy Dorsey, Duke, Count. Even we can probably hit stuff like Gene Krupa. We're hitting stuff, the tunes that really build a lot of character as far as being a jazz musician goes, because one, they're iconic in the genre, but two, they oftentimes, these arrangements that we're pulling out are challenging. Last year we had played some pretty challenging stuff, and I was really surprised. The kids rose to the challenge. They're doing fantastic last year.
And the challenge was not just in our top jazz ensemble, but our second one. I remember Mr. Schuyler, he went up to me, he's just like, yeah, we're giving Jazz 2 La Fiesta. I'm just like, whoa. And they went, and they're troopers, and they toughed it out, and they played it. I was like, wow. I know Jazz 1, we played some, oh my goodness, UNT, brain fart. But some amazing transcriptions that were played by the UNT jazz band. We played some amazing Duke Ellington charts. We played a Pat Metheny chart. We got to go and perform in a myriad of places, like we mentioned. We got to combine Jazz 1 and 2. Jazz 2 got to play at the Oakland Jazz Night in their downtown center, hosted by Hapco. Jazz 2 and 1 got to, again, combine and perform for Luke's Hope, where we got to play we even had the entire band singing Twist and Shout. It was quite a treat. We had Jazz 1 and 2 combined go out and play at the Orlando Philharmonic event, and they got to meet the Mambo Kings and listen to them perform, and it was, again, an amazing treat. So again, we'd love to have you guys. All you have to do is sign up, register at oice.org/register down at the bottom. We'll send you your audition packet. November 7th rolls around. You do a very easy, stress-free audition, and we put you in an ensemble. But with that, Chris, what are some of your thoughts on our jazz ensembles?
They're refreshing, I think, because I think generally speaking, being a nonprofit and just being a kind of extracurricular thing students can attend, generally speaking, the people who do attend are passionate about what they're doing, and that means that they're more likely to perform with a certain level of professionalism, or approach it from a more professional perspective. And I think that that's one of the best things about the ensembles that we have, is that I was really surprised with the level of musicianship and capability, both technically and otherwise, across their instruments. When I first heard, I remember hearing Big Band 1 for the first time, and I was like, whoa, there's a lot of potential here. And it's refreshing to see that. I think, having grown up in the public school system, having been exposed to good music and having great educators, there were always people in the band who would hold everyone else back. And when you get a bunch of like-minded people in the same room and they're all encouraging each other to do better, to perform better, everyone gets better faster. The music gets harder, it gets more interesting, and before you know it, you're getting gigs and making money doing it. That's always a potential possibility too.
No, absolutely. Actually, some of our students did get to perform and do some gigs courtesy of Hapco. But yeah, right, I remember I went and got to see the OCPS all county list, and I was just like, wow. So I did the math. I did, me being a nerd, right? We did some statistics, and 85% of the OCPS all county jazz band were in OICE.
Enough said.
Yeah, I think our entire Jazz 1 sax section and half of Jazz 2 sax section, almost all but one student in our trumpet section, our whole rhythm section, all but two of our trombonists were all in the all county jazz band. And I was like, wow. And again, I'm not saying that was us, but it was mostly the students just showing up. Yeah, we would have a reflex.
I got to sit in on one of their sectionals last season, and man, there's so much talent there. There's so much potential. They're obviously passionate about what they do, and that's a testament to the kind of students we're attracting to OICE. We're really attracting people who want to not only be educated and be provided the opportunity to play, but they're seeking self-betterment musically, and that's what we're getting. That's the kind of talent we have here, and what we're accumulating and growing and nurturing here at OIC.
Absolutely. And this year we have some amazing charts we want to play. I know that we want to pull out A Mis Abuelos, the Arturo Sandoval tune. We have some 8-big big band charts that we want to do. The theme song of Cowboy Bebop. I know Jazz One is really trying to play Pat Metheny's First Circle. So
Nice.
start practicing your clapping. Right. Well, we have some amazing vocal charts, some Duke Ellington charts that we really want to play. But yeah, again, just remember, register on our website, follow us on our social media, start working on them audition tapes, and get ready for a crazy roller coaster of a season, because I know that the jazz ensembles are really going to blow everybody away this year.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
A question for you, Mr. Lopez. What are some exciting performances that you are planning to have this year with the Jazz Orchestra One?
Absolutely. So we plan on continuing our collaboration with the Orlando Philharmonic. We plan on going back to Timucua and performing there. We are working with performing at UCF, with Valencia College, with Rollins College. We plan on continue our amazing relationship with Hapco and all the opportunities they provide us. If it happens, again, this is outside of our control, but we plan to re-register for the Essentially Ellington competition, and everything else that pops up. Again, our goal and focus is providing these amazing opportunities for our amazing students.
Fantastic and great news for our ensembles and especially our Jazz Orchestra 1 and 2. Very excited to see them up and playing again and performing. Thank you again, Chris Medina, for your time.
Thank you.
So now it's time they've been patiently waiting, and we're so excited to bring them on, is we want to talk to you guys about some of our partners. But before you do, I want to ask all of you guys for your help, right? This organization is for the community and only works when everyone in our community adds to it and is a part of it. We want you all to help and be a part of OICE in whatever capacity you can be. So I ask that you please check us out on our social media. Our Instagram is right here on the bottom right, OICE_official. Check out our YouTube channel, which this is also streaming to. And if anyone missed this, please let them know. Hey, check out our YouTube. You'll be able to find this. It'll stay up for the whole season. And just let your friends know. Be like, that's how this entire organization came to be. I'm gonna tell you a little story before we bring on our partners, but this whole organization started as a clarinet choir, just a clarinet choir. It was a December of 2017 leading into 2018, right? It's already been 3 years. It's crazy. And we went, and I asked some of my personal private lesson students and some of the students of the schools I traveled to, I'm like, hey, you guys want to come together and play in a clarinet choir? Most of them were like, yeah, sure, let's do it. That'd be really cool. And then overnight, literally 87 kids, bam, we have a clarinet choir. Then we were just like, wow, this is really something. So then we went and then we started a jazz band. And then bam, overnight, we had a full jazz band. We had a benefit concert that we put together in 1 week, and the people that were involved with that know how crazy and hectic and successful it was. Again, a beautiful and amazing opportunity that we got to put together and to put on for a community. But again, the moral of the story is that this only happened because a couple kids were like, hey, we're doing this thing, you should come and join. Oh, I have a friend at this other high school, let me tell them. And then that one kid joined and he told their friend, and bam, overnight, we have an entire organization with over 400 students. A lot of people are like, wow, all you teachers and staff do so much. I'm like, I guess so, but it's really the students and our community and their parents who drive them to our rehearsals, and the kids who drag their friends. Like, yeah, staying at home and watching TikTok videos is lame. Come play your saxophone, or come learn how to make oboe reeds, or come learn how to scat, or learn how to play violin correctly, right? I'm a clarinet player. But it all comes down to you guys, and we need your help to come and make sure that this is as successful as it can be, so we can continue providing these opportunities for you. But with that said, we want to invite some of the staff members and some of the employees over at Songbirds. So Songbirds is an amazing shop and store and academy that teaches not just music, but also arts and dance and all this craziness. So they're obviously a lot more fit to talk to you guys about it. So here we have Mr. Benny. Hey, Julian, how's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
Still breathing.
Yeah. Hey, this is some really good stuff. We're thoroughly enjoying this whole thing. This is amazing. I had no idea the expansion that you guys were embarking on this coming semester. So this is great.
And it'll continue to grow, hopefully, and especially with working with you guys and this collaboration. I'm so excited to see what we can continue providing for these students.
As we were hearing about all the ensembles, I was complaining to Benny that we can't join. They sound like a blast.
Oh, for sure.
You should totally join. The more the merrier, right?
I was like, I was gonna ask. I was like, are there age limits to you guys' ensembles?
Yes, actually. So there are. So we go from 7th grade to seniors in high school, but we do try and include. So if you're a college student, we have internship opportunities, and for adults, we always have people chaperoning at our events, volunteering at our events, or if they're musically oriented, even being a clinician and helping out.
Kind of like shadowing with the students. Okay, cool. That's great. That's awesome.
But yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys talk a little bit about Songbirds and what you guys do.
Sweet. Cool. My name is Benny. Benny Romero. I've been around for quite a bit. I've probably been to a lot of your schools. I've been playing clarinet for about 23 years now. Let's go beers. I do a lot of bass clarinet. I do a lot of bass clarinet performing and contra as well, and multiple groups across Central Florida. But my big thing is just helping young musicians and getting them the supplies they need. I've been in that industry for I don't know, close to a decade now, and I just all sorts of joy comes to me by being able to help bring these opportunities to students. I know growing up, it was rough as far as like knowing where to go. There wasn't as much, like, social media wasn't a big thing. You know, everything on the internet and phones and tablets and all this good stuff. Like, we didn't have that available when I was younger. So if we didn't see a flyer for it or commercial, we just didn't know. So being able to be in this part of the industry where I can go out to people and like, hey, there's options available to you, and they're affordable, and here's this, here's that. You know, let us be like your personal shopper, so to say. It makes the world go round, and it keeps the music going. So it's really nice. And then I just recently joined the team here over at Songbirds, and the owner here, Jillian, will tell you a little bit more about what we do here as a whole, and you know, what our overall mission is to the music community. So I'll just hand it over to Jillian.
Hi, I'm Jillian. I also grew up around here. I went to Lake Hall High School, and then I ran away. So a little bit about my background. Throughout high school, I was the forbidden choir band nerd, so I did both. But I have a degree in opera performance, so I'm all about the classical arts. That said, I have a huge appreciation for jazz. I love it. It's actually my favorite to listen to. Yeah, anyway, so my background is I do opera, and in the world of performance, you work with a lot of different kinds of artists. You don't just work with musicians. So when you're performing, you work with instrumentalists, you work with dancers, you work with artists You work with people who create costumes and do set design. And so it kind of always bothered me that growing up that we never really got to collaborate with any of those people. So I performed across the country a bit, and during one of those performances, I met my husband, and we talked about this, and we decided we wanted to create Songbirds as a place where artists of all types could come together, become amazing artists, and then collaborate and make awesome art. And that is kind of what we've done. I'm really excited to say that we hit year 3 next Tuesday, so I'm super excited. So we're pretty new to the area. We're over in Oviedo. This is where I grew up. And we do music, art, dance, and magic classes. So obviously, my husband and I, our background is music, so that's our most thriving part. And we're really excited to have Benny bring on a new part to that business. So we do private lessons. I'm probably hardest about picking my music instructors just because that's my expertise. And then we also do music classes. We have a baby music class. That's my favorite one to teach. And then we have dance classes, your normal ballet, jazz, tap. We also do like hip hop. We, like I said, do art classes. We have like paint parties that are virtual. We do one-on-one art classes. We do art classes where you learn technique. They're like 8 weeks long. We have a new block starting up next week. And then we also do magic classes, and those are relatively new. Someone I grew up with is he performed all around the world his magic, and he teaches it locally. And I call him my most distracting employee because he just does magic to you all the time, and it's very distracting. All day. But it's awesome. So he teaches students how to perform, but he also teaches them life skills, which is awesome. And what we do pre-COVID was we started putting our big performances of the year together. So for example, this past December, we had a Beatles concert. So I convinced all the dance teachers to let me do the Beatles music, and every song was from the Beatles. And then all the classes, all the dance classes that were ages 6 and up had live music. So we have a rock band, and then we also have an adult rock band. And so we had them perform a lot of the music. And then we had some students who were more advanced sing the songs. We also had some students do some solo pieces. We had a ukulele student do a song. We had a guitar student do like Blackbird. And that was pretty awesome. And then some art students came in and they helped do some set pieces, and they also helped do some backdrops and stuff for the rock band. And it was really cool seeing it all come together, which is really special. And it's an opportunity. Many dancers don't get to perform with live music until they get to the professional setting. Many singers don't get to perform with bands or orchestras till they get to the professional setting, which is another thing that you guys do, which is awesome. So that's kind of our mission here at Songbirds. But what I wanted to tell you guys about is what we can offer you. So if you're looking for private lessons or anything, we have those here. We always make sure the first one's free because we want to make sure it's a good fit for you and a teacher. It's a big commitment to take lessons with someone, and you want to make sure that they're qualified and that you have a good rapport, and they like the same kind of music you have, and that they're going to challenge you. And our teachers are awesome, and they do that, and I'm so confident in them. That's why I make sure you can try it out first. And then Benny here, he does instruments, so he can talk a little bit about that. And then I'll circle. Well, should I?
No.
Go ahead. You talk about the instruments and stuff. So, I've talked enough.
So instruments. Before I got here, it was all we had were the classes and everything, and now we're like, hey, what can we do more? So I brought instruments. It's like, hey, let's do this. So we have rental instruments available for all ages, band and orchestra. We've also got supplies. So if you need your reeds, you need your strings, you need anything you could possibly need to continue on as a musician, we have that available here too. We've got repairs as well. So if something needs adjusting, we can make that happen. We've got a couple of other things in the works right now. We're just waiting on a couple like green lights to get it going, and then we'll announce that and all good jazz. So
all good jazz.
All nice. Good jazz.
That's funny. Oh, get out of here. Awesome. Great. So, and I have a little surprise for you guys at the end. But quickly, I just want to mention our art classes. So a lot of musicians love art. I mean, who wouldn't? It's a fun thing to do. We have them for kids as young as like 4. And then we have grandmas who join in with the 4-year-olds and like do the same paintings. But we have things called paint parties. They're like paint nights, but we do them towards the younger crowd. Like I said, a lot of adults join in. So this is one of the ones we did this week. It's a super cute owl which is really fun. And actually, we're doing a freebie for you guys. So we're going to ask Jesus and Antonio to send out an email. It's going to have a PDF attachment, and it's going to have a video link, and it's going to teach you how to do this painting, which is a lot of fun. It's something you guys can do at home. I know it looks really hard. I promise you can do it. It's awesome. Hello. And, oh no, you can't see my face. Here I am. And then, so I said music, art, dance. Oh, and then my surprise, which is that because we have just brought in Benny on to do all these instrument accessories and instruments in general and the repairs and stuff, we actually have a special code for you guys that is just for the Orlando Youth Chamber Ensembles. So if you go to our website, it's songbirdsovido.com. If you end up finding your way to the shop page, it's hard to find. I'm working on it. The website stuff is hard. But if you find your way, or even if you just walk in, if you type in OYCE, you get 10% off all of our products. And that's not going away. That's just something we want to do for you because we want to support the local community. And we also want you guys to support small businesses. So that's my punch there. I think that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
No, not really. I mean, I think that covers everything.
Did I talk fast enough?
Right. Do you have any questions?
Oh, don't worry.
That's your dance teacher.
I always get yelled at for talking too fast. So I tell people,
okay.
You get used to it. No, but with that, so we want to say thank you so much for offering our students and our members this 10% discount. Like I know for them it'll be a huge help and they'll greatly appreciate it. But I want to ask you one more question: is what's the best way to find you on social media, so that all of our students and parents can find you guys?
So if you go on Facebook, we are under Songbirds Mad Center. So that's our acronym for music, art, dance, because we're crazy. So Songbirds Mad Center on Facebook. We're also on Instagram under Songbirds Mad Center. So that's the best way to find us on social media. If you end up joining any of our programs, we have a private group. It's called the Songbirds Nest. And there, a lot of our students show off their paintings. So for example, today there was a little 9-year-old who made this owl that I showed earlier, and she showed hers, and hers had a bow, and it was looking to the moon, and it was so cute. But then, other kids can see the paintings that people are making because we don't have a ton of interaction right now. So it's a kind of way to kind of get some feedback on your art. And then we're trying to encourage our musicians to post their videos there, but they're getting there.
Yeah, instrumentalists they're finicky type. I can promise you that much. But thank you so much. Is there any last words that you want to say to our audience?
Just come stop in. We're right in Oviedo. Right. If you know where Alafay and Mitchell Hammock meet, it's an LA Fitness Plaza. There used to be a Delmonico's here. We're right in that plaza. So give us a call and stop on in. We'd love to see you. Thanks for having us. Thank you so much, Jesus and Antonio.
Thank you for being
here. This has been great.
We really appreciate you being here. We continue to, and we hope to continue working with you guys and help promoting all this music and arts and dance. Oh my goodness, it's amazing.
The fine arts, you're great.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And with this, we're gonna bring back our amazing vocal jazz ensemble director. See, new ensembles. It still takes a little getting used to. Bring back our vocal jazz ensemble director, the one and only Michelle Mayo. But this time, she's going to be talking to you about an organization that, if I'm not mistaken, she's a board member for, and that is the Central Florida Jazz Society. So with that, Michelle, are you ready?
Yep, here I am.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi again.
How's it going?
It's going well. You want to know a little bit about the Jazz Society?
Absolutely.
Okay. I've been on the board for a few years, and let's see. There's maybe 2 or 3 hats that the organization holds dear. One is we offer somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000 a year in these jazz scholarships. We have an annual jazz scholarship competition, and this is open for 12th grade through junior year in college. So this is, what everyone in OYCE might be working towards, and Joel Klein has received a bunch of money, Stephen Grant, Ryan Devlin, a lot of cats that you guys know. and it helps pay for books and tuition. And I think Joel got a new tenor saxophone with it last year. It's real money. I think the top prize was $2,500 this past year, and we did it, and we did it on Zoom, and it was fabulous. They just had to play with backing tracks, and we made it work. And we had 3 professional jazz judges. I think we had Jeremy Fraudy, a local great tenor sax player, and we had Paul Chong Yu, trumpet player, local, and then Michelle Amato, a great jazz singer in the Orlando area, and they were our judges. And it was a great competition. Another thing that we offer is just some amazing discounts for young jazzers that want to join our organization. And I think membership typically is $30 for an individual, but for students, I think it's everyone under 25, to be honest, it's just $5 a year. We want you to be a part of our organization so much. And what we offer besides the scholarship competition is a concert season that we used to hold at the Abbey, but now we hold it at the Blue Bamboo. And it's on pause at the moment, but we constantly are talking with ways to bring that back, and it will come back. And we bring in amazing artists, often from out of town, sometimes from out of the country. And they are at the top of their game. They are singers and instrumentalists of all types of music. And we've had Tommy Dorsey Orchestra play for us before as well. And during our season, the $5 membership, that I think a ticket price to these concerts is just $5. And it's on a Sunday afternoon at 3:00 once a month. And we want to partner with OYCE to get maybe some performances at some schools or at some assisted living facilities and some retirement homes. And you and I, Jesus, have talked about this quite a few times. OYCE does so great with finding opportunities for these students to play. And the Central Florida Jazz Society is just right in line with that. So I just love this new partnership that I'm a part of this organization. And I also wear the hat of being a board member of the Jazz Society, because this is exactly what we've been wanting to do for years. So bring me your musicians and let's find some opportunities to have them out playing in the community.
Absolutely. And again, one of our goals is just partnering up with all these amazing organizations so that we can continue to provide amazing opportunities for our students, and then amazing opportunities for our community to get to meet these kids and have opportunities to be a part of the scholarship competition and get to listen to all this local talent that they normally would have never probably even met or heard or gotten to experience. But Michelle, I have one question for you. So how do we find you guys on social media, and how can we become members of the Central Florida Jazz Society?
I think now membership, you have to go to our website, which is centralfloridajazzsociety.org. I know we have a Facebook page, and I think we also have a Twitter page that I haven't seen in the last week or so. But the website is the most current, and there's a really nice article about this year's winners of the jazz competition, and we have a great program and some great photos from that as well.
Absolutely, and it was an absolutely wonderful concert. And thank you for inviting me to that. I had a blast.
Yeah,
getting to listen.
That's so cool. Thank you. Yeah.
To Hannah and Steven and all those amazing cats.
Oh, we made it work, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, we have to keep that in mind. All of us here at OYCE I don't know what's going to happen in November and January at Rollins. My vocal jazz ensemble, all the choirs and all the instrumental ensembles are all meeting in person with all these nice social distancing guidelines, but I found a lot of magic, creativity, and beauty even in these Zoom formats and making virtual choirs. And, so there's that aspect of, since COVID, that's not going to go away. If anything, it just kind of adds to the overall huge picture of what we can offer students, Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I know with the mission of the Central Florida Jazz Society and OYCE, we will continue to push, make sure that all these crazy jazz musicians, we all get through this, students and professionals alike, because there will be a better tomorrow, and I know these gigs will be back. But with that, I want to thank you so much, Michelle, for being here, and I know we could continue to push the Central Florida Jazz Society, and we'll continue to provide these amazing opportunities, not just for our students, but for the Central Florida Jazz Societies as well. But with that, thank you so much, Michelle. And now we're super excited to introduce, here we go. got to make sure we got the right banner and got everything set up for the one and only Mr. Joseph McMullen. Are you ready, Mr. Joe?
I'm ready. Bring me on up. How you doing, sir? Good evening, everyone.
I want to introduce Mr. McMullen because Joe was actually one of our first partnerships. I remember meeting him at FMEA a couple years back. We were just walking around, and I'm just like, "Hey, I've heard so much about you," and a bunch of like friends and colleagues of mine were just like, "No, you need to talk to this guy." And instantly, he was just like, "Let's get it going." A couple weeks later, bam, we're performing, and we've had this beautiful relationship with them ever since. But I want you to go ahead and just talk about some of the opportunities you guys got going and some of the activities you have.
So, so that's what we do, Hapco Music Foundation. Our mission is building futures through music, art, and education. And the way we do it is we partner with organizations. Though we don't bring the programs to us, we bring the programs to you. So like with OICE, we have some plans to have a rhythm event workshop for your group, but because of COVID, we had to postpone to the spring. So we come alongside programs. We have got some programs going on right now. We got some things going on over at Evans High School, where we have sent Mr. Jeff Rupert, University of Central Florida Director of Jazz Studies. He's doing some classes over there. Dr. Otto Gomez is going to be doing some classes over at Carver Middle starting next week, Friday. So we send professionals and clinicians into the classrooms, into the schools, into the community-based organizations to put on programs, classes, and clinics. That's one thing that we do. We host our own clinic. So every February at Ocoee High School, we host a countywide jazz clinic where we bring the bands in from all over the area, and it's free. They have to come. And so it's like a FBA MPA type of format where we have the adjudication going on. Mr. Marco was one of our clinicians last year, and then funny, I just found out about a year ago, he was one of the students that came through our clinic years ago. So we've been doing this thing for a while. So, we bring programs to the Ocoee High School, allow them to perform for some top clinicians, and then they go through a series of classes. The great thing about that program, man, is it's free. It's set for February 6th of 2021. Prayerfully, COVID will have some type of cure or vaccine or something that makes it easy. If not, we'll figure out how we're going to do it. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we send clinicians into the schools, just like we had set for OICE, bringing in Rich DeRosa from UNT and Michelle Fernandez from South Florida to come and do a rhythm class for you. So we take our programs to the community, and that's what we try to do. We also have a piece that you've been mentioning a lot tonight. It's called Hapco Live. Now, Hapco Live is a program where we hire young musicians to perform for different events. And so people come to us, whether it's a corporate party, a mixer, a private party. Even myself, I host a jazz night in Oakland every fourth Friday prior to the COVID, and we were bringing different bands and programs to perform. You've done several events for me throughout the year. I give you an example. In 2019, Hapco was able to put $14,000 into young musicians' hands. That's musicians that's in high school, musicians that's in college. Andrew Kennedy, one of our good friends, he was actually the first band that came to us when he was a sophomore in high school and said, "Hey, Mr. McMullen, I have a group of guys." They were called the OKC, I think the OK combo. They said, "Hey, man, you have any opportunities to perform?" So they performed for me for a couple of events. Then when people started seeing them, more people started asking them, and this was back in 2012, asking them to perform. And so from 2012, it's been going. And so now we kind of formalize Hapco Live is one of our pillars. And so we try to give students opportunities. Again, we don't bring people to us. We try to help, come alongside young musicians to give them an opportunity so they can be better musicians. So you can, as you come alongside school programs, we'll come alongside programs like yourselves, and we bring in clinicians. We do our own summer jazz camp. We've been doing it for years. Scott Wilson, the University of Florida, has been running that for years. And one year he was on sabbatical, and Jeff Rupert stepped in and ran that for us. Some of the clinicians that have come through our jazz summer camp has been Wycliffe Gordon. We had Marcus Printup last year. We had Michelle Fernandez last year. We had Mr. What's the gentleman name? Out of trying to think of his name, out of University of Florida. Please forgive me. We had so many clinicians that came through. We had Robert Acevedo. We had Eric Abernathy. We also had Mr. Jose Ruzez. So we have a lot of clinicians that come alongside our programs to help us, just be a good partner with those community organizations that's out there. And so all we're trying to do is just really help programs grow, utilize our resources to come alongside these young programs. And, again, our mission is building futures through music, art, and education. And then we give out scholarships. And so some of your students that you mentioned earlier, you guys have fees and you have challenges to as it relates to financial barriers. We have a scholarship fund that's named after my high school band director. It's the KRT, Kenneth R. Talbert Scholarship Fund, where we will help, facilitate and, eliminate some of those financial challenges. And so if you have some students that are having some challenges to join your program and they can't pay the fees, send us an email, reach out to us, tell us what you're doing, tell us why you need that help. We have sent students over to FMEA and help them pay for their fees for all state. There's a lot of challenges. There's some great students. They have the skills, but sometimes they don't have the dollars to do to go to those classes and to those clinics and to those programs and to those all state events. And so, again, our main mission is really just come alongside programs, helping them get to that next level, and also helping young musicians realize what they can do and try to eliminate any and all barriers as possible, as much as possible.
Yes, I can definitely vouch for everything that Mr. McMullen said. He's been there, he's helped some of our students either between getting them performances and helping with their tuition, getting them performance opportunities,
Yes.
even getting them instruments. Remember, he sent me a message and was just like, hey, I have an old a saxophone that we fixed up that we want to give away to a student in need. And we're like, definitely, here's a couple students. Hey, he's just like, just write me an essay on why you deserve it, and bam, they had an instrument. So we really appreciate everything you do for the community, not just for OICE, but for all these band programs that you were mentioning, like Evans and Carver and all the schools that you've helped us help.
Yes.
So again, we really appreciate having you here and being part of the mission and just to, again, do good in the community through music. It's beautiful, and again, we can't thank you enough. And thank you for being here.
Well, yeah, if I can say anything, your whole team, all the things that you're doing, you allowing us to help you help more students. You are bridging the gap. You are coming alongside these programs. Definitely, the band directors can't do it by themselves. We know that. It's just too much to do by themselves. And so we just try to fill in those gaps. And so you're doing a Herculean task. And then wherever we can fit in to help those students get to the next level. As I mentioned earlier, we give out a lot of scholarships. During our summer camp, the students can't, attend our summer camp because of financial barriers. We find sponsors to help. Same thing with whatever you're doing. If a student cannot participate because of financial challenges, because we don't want these students to say no. And that's what we try to do. Don't say no. If it's finances, reach out to Hapco, reach out to Jesus, and he'll reach out to us, and we do all we can. We have our own small programs that we do, whether it's at the Coy High School or the summer. But our main thing year round is really trying to come alongside programs like yourself and sending out those clinicians. Check us out, everything Hapco, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everything that we do is Hapco Music Foundation. And like I said, we got programs right now at Evans High School and at Carver Middle School. And soon, when this COVID thing is clear, you will see us bringing programs to OICE.
Look at that. You even got a nice little shout out from one of our parents who attended some of your clinics.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's what we try to do. We just want to do what we can, to bring those the professionals in, just like you're doing. With the synergy that we have here is amazing, and the only way we can really pour into these kids' lives is with the partnership and the collaboration that we have.
Absolutely, and again, that's what it's all about. That's why we have Songbirds, and that's why we have all of our staff members is just to continue providing these opportunities for all you students and all you families that just want a positive and a creative outlet for these kids. Especially, again, we've been mentioning it all night, but especially in this climate, it's very interesting, and it's a very dynamic time and lack of better word. But I want to say thank you to all of the amazing clinicians, partners, and staff that came on here tonight and joined us. I know Benny did like our All-State Prep Clinic, and Antonio, our Vice President, Chris Medina. And Hapco, who took time out of his day to join us and talk about their programs and our programs. Again, feel free, sign up. The link is down below, oice.org/register to be part of our season. Check out Songbirds, check out Hapco, check out the Central Florida Jazz Society, and we're incredibly excited and can't wait to work with you guys in the near future. If you have any questions, please feel free, comment, send us an email at info@oice.org. We'll be more than happy to help you, and we hope to see you guys soon. With that, anyone has any last things to say?
Looking forward to it.
Again, thank you all for joining us again tonight. And for those who have just joined us recently, I just want to share you a couple of more dates. Again, our masterclass series, we will have flute with Katie Mess on October 23rd, and then we will have sax on October 27th, along with our future live streams of brass and percussion happening October 21st, our new string orchestras happening November 4th, and our woodwinds, of course, happening November 18th. Thank you guys again for joining us, and we can't wait to see you guys in our future live streams. Thank you again.
And with that, I want to say bye to everyone, and thanks for joining us.